Good morning, everyone. Well, thank you, Maria, for a thought-provoking presentation on the future of streaming to 2024. And one of the numbers that stands out for me is the 500 million OTT net global video subscriber ads in the next 5 years, which really focuses the mind on the scale and the opportunity for streaming services across the globe. And with that in mind, it is my huge pleasure to introduce Kelly Day today, who is President of International Streaming Services at ViacomCBS International, as well as COO at Viacom. So she has a dual role, and particularly interesting, Kelly, is your background, because of course you're one of the rare senior executives in the studio space who has actually done the launches of new services when you're at Discovery, the digital first content forum, the free, Gen Z environment, which is so exciting and such high growth. And now, of course, with your streaming ambitions in a really interesting model because of the mixed ecosystem of both free and pay and hybrid. So first of all, I wanted to congratulate you, Kelly, to you and your team. You've been incredibly busy in the last 6 months since your streaming appointment. Streaming revenue has increased in the past year for Viacom by 49% to 20.6 million, with a reach of 30 million users. And we heard at the recent investment day that you had the incredible scale of the ambition of Viacom in this space, with an ambition to take that to 7 billion US, with a powerful content strategy and global rollout of Paramount Plus and of course Pluto TV, and aiming to audiences between 65 to 75 million streamers, which is a good chunk of the 500 million that you're planning to take on. So congrats. But let's talk about the latest baby, Paramount Plus, which has now launched in Latin America, and of course today, big day, launching or relaunching in the Nordics. Do you want to speak to that launch and to really the whole building of that powerhouse that is going to be the combination of Paramount Plus and the streaming assets of ViacomCBS?
Yeah, thanks so much, Natalie, for having me. I'm really excited to be here. And as you say, we certainly have been busy the last 6 months. As we, rolled out a couple of weeks ago at the ViacomCBS Investor Day, ViacomCBS does have tremendous global ambitions around streaming, both across the free and pay and premium ecosystems. So we've put out, a very big goal in front of the company, and we've got the entire company lined up behind delivering against that goal. And we started delivering against that goal, I would say, on March 4th, which is the day, of course, that we unveiled the new Paramount Plus, not only in the US, but of course in Latin America, 18 markets in Latin America, as well as in Canada. And then today, of course, we are launching in the Nordics territories as well. So we are incredibly excited about that. We've got Australia coming up later this year too. And so the teams are well underway working on that. But we really do have huge ambitions. We believe that 65 to 75 million number is absolutely achievable. And there is, as you say, just an incredible amount of momentum in the streaming space in general. And we feel like we have a really great product that we're now able to bring to the market. And I think as people have seen the product over the last couple of weeks, is certainly reflected in the enthusiasm and momentum around Paramount Plus that we've seen kind of across the board. The Nordics, which of course we're launching today, is really, you could say where Paramount Plus began. We actually originally launched the Paramount Plus brand in the Nordics back in 2017. And that was actually one of our first markets where we introduced a streaming service underneath a Paramount Plus brand. And it has been really a foundational market for us. We have incredible relationships with all of our partners in the Nordics, and we are very excited about the supersized and expanded Paramount Plus product that we are rolling out today in what is a very strategic and very foundational market for us. So we're really, really excited about that.
So tell us about your key thoughts on and strategic rationale driving the new launches, and also, how they coexist with your other streaming assets like Pluto TV. Are you going to be creating a single audience funnel across both? Where are you going with all of that? And of course, in parallel to that, you've got your networks, which sits alongside and amplifies all of that. So give us a flavor of what you're doing.
I mean, when we look at the ecosystem and the assets that we're able to bring to the market, right? We are a leader in pay television and free to air television, as we have been for many, many years now. We've got this incredible free product now with Pluto TV, which is, of course, Tom Ryan's company that we acquired a couple of years ago, and have just seen incredible explosive growth in Pluto. And then, of course, now Paramount Plus, not to mention that we still have tremendous reach for, our kids service, for example, Noggin. So we're really hitting across a lot of different pay points, but also a lot of different audiences in each of those ecosystems. I think, as we approach the market and we think about how the world is going to evolve, from being a perhaps linear first viewing consumption pattern to a streaming or digital or OTT first consumption pattern, we feel like we have great assets, but it's also important to think about how we approach each individual market. So we really do look in a market by market way and make very thoughtful choices about when and how we enter a market to be sure that we have the content offering, the pricing. We want to make sure that when we go into a market that we can be incredibly competitive there and really be assured that we can achieve a top 3 or 4 position in each of those markets, knowing that, as you say, there is obviously a lot of competition out there to get that incremental 500 million subs that are going to be coming online. So what you've seen in terms of our market strategy is that we've identified markets that we think are obviously a very high priority for Paramount Plus, and that's based on thinking through things like, what is our content availability? What is the market dynamic? What are our strategic partnerships in that market? The Nordics is a perfect example where we have incredible strategic partnerships in that market who are really excited to work with us to bring a new product into the market. So we look at all of those things. On the free side with Pluto TV, we obviously look at the ad market and the growth of the ad market, since that is an ad-supported product. And we think also about what kind of content we can bring to the market in that free ad-supported environment that we know that is really going to resonate with consumers. And then we make choices about how and when we go into the market. So right now, we've got for Paramount Plus, our priority markets being Latin America, Nordics, and Australia. We will have other Paramount Plus markets coming soon, so there will definitely be more news down the road about Paramount Plus. But Pluto has really been on an incredible growth trajectory over the last year. So when we originally acquired Pluto, they had just launched in the UK and Germany. We can continue to see fantastic growth and consumer adoption in both the UK and Germany. Latin America it's long been really an incredible market for mobile video consumption, right? It's been a key market for YouTube for a long time, and sort of other players in the mobile video space. So we've seen all the social platforms obviously explode in Latin America. And so it's not that surprising that Pluto has really just shot through the roof in LATAM. It's an incredibly popular product. It's done very, very well. We ended last year at 13 million international monthly MAUs for Pluto, which was a really phenomenal number. And we're just continuing to see that go way, way up. And then we've also since then launched, we rolled out Brazil at the end of last year. We rolled out Spain at the end of last year. We just launched France last month, and we've got Italy coming later this year as well. So we're continuing to expand Pluto across Europe. We expect to be in most markets in Europe over the next 1 to 2 years. So that's really fantastic growth there as well. And then in terms of, how does the whole ecosystem fit together, right? Well, if you look, for example, at what we did behind our launch a couple of weeks ago of Paramount Plus in LATAM, I think that's a perfect example of how the entire ecosystem can work together, right? Which is that when we launched Paramount Plus, we had and we're still running a pop-up channel on Pluto where we're previewing a lot of this amazing Paramount Plus content. So our Pluto viewership can get a sneak peek at what's happening on Paramount Plus and really serves as a funnel into that subscriber acquisition channel. We had roadblocks across all of our pay TV networks in pretty much every market. So across MTV, Comedy Central, and Paramount Network in Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, everywhere, we had these great roadblocks. We have the #1 broadcaster in Argentina in Telefe. Telefe did incredible promotions and integrations into some of their biggest shows like MasterChef. We really put the entire army of ViacomCBS assets across Latin America to work to make sure that you could not miss Paramount Plus on the day we launched. And I think that is a perfect example of where a company like ViacomCBS that does have these incredible legacy assets can really use those to shift consumer behavior and shift consumer mindset around these new products.
That's fascinating. And I think that's something that's really interesting about the way that you've approached the whole ecosystem, is that you're using it as a single funnel across lots of different touch points for your audiences, going in and out of free, pay, hybrid. It's a really interesting model and one to watch. Let's go back to your comment about localization and, of course, your content and audience strategy locally underpinning the whole global service. So again, in the investment day, there was a big number put out there with a multiple of 5 in terms of the spend on original production, from 1 to 5 billion plus. So give us a flavor of how much of that is likely to make its way into local markets. And I'm really interested in developing the thoughts that you had on the local market approach.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the foundation of our content offering is certainly the incredible brands and the incredible pipeline that comes out of our US brands, right? So one of the things that is actually really unique about Paramount Plus outside the US is that we are combining both the Showtime premium scripted series with the Paramount Plus originals and the entire ViacomCBS library. So we've got a mix of both Showtime, Paramount Plus, and all the ViacomCBS assets together under one roof, under one umbrella. And we definitely believe that that is a very competitive and very robust content offering. That said, we also recognize that consumers in international markets value local content, in particular in non-English speaking markets like Latin America and Brazil. We know that our consumer there wants Spanish language content. They want to see local talent and hear local stories that really reflect them, reflect their culture, and really tell those stories well. And so what you are going to see is a continued investment in local content. We announced some amazing titles during the Investor Day a couple of weeks ago. We are super proud of the work that we're doing in partnering with local showrunners and local talent. We've got an amazing actress from Mexico, Maria Treviano, who is starring in this fantastic series, Cecilia, that we just launched. And so we've got a lot of great momentum behind building this incredible pipeline of non-English speaking talent, and we are super excited to bring that to markets. You will see that investment in local content continue to travel as we go into other markets. But I think the last piece of it that is actually super important is that when we invest in local content, it's not just for that local market. We have seen more and more that non-English language content, that content that is produced all over the world, travels very, very well all over the world, including back to the US. And so that is definitely an ambition that as we continue to build out ViacomCBS International Studios, that we develop new stories and new series that can travel everywhere, and that we can bring those stories to all of our markets globally. And so we're very excited about that, actually.
So a truly international pool of talent and opportunities there that you're going to be building on. So looking at the big picture and looking at the growth opportunities in the markets, and we've seen that there's been a forecast that Maria gave that she thinks that 50% of that growth will come on the Asia Pacific side of the market. How do you see Paramount moving, and where do you see the big differentiators? I'm looking at your vision of the opportunities ahead in the next 3-4 years. You've got a lot of work and a lot of ambition and a lot of capabilities and a huge global content strategy. Give us your
final thoughts as we wrap
this session on
we're at the beginning of what is, I think, going to be an incredible journey. We have seen just across the board, I think, over the last year, obviously, as we're all living through remarkable circumstances, that the consumer demand for streaming content and for premium content in general, movies, series, has just continued to go up and up and up. And we're seeing these forecasts for streaming adoption to continue to go up and up and up. And we are just at the beginning of that journey. So we've got a lot more markets ahead of us. As I said, we are definitely not stopping with these first 23 countries. We have a lot more road ahead of us and a lot more exciting markets to come. We have amazing partnerships, incredible distribution partnerships, content partnerships. We believe in the power of partnerships, and I think you're going to see us continue to partner closely in both content and in distribution to ensure that we have an incredibly competitive and sought after product as we go into each of these markets, and that our product is widely distributed and available to as many consumers as possible. I think you're going to continue to see us invest in other types of content. We're certainly looking at other opportunities in things like sports and other categories like that can continue to bring value to consumers. So, we're at the very beginning. We're incredibly excited about where we're going with it. We're super happy with the reaction and the response that we've seen across the board over the last couple of weeks to our rollout, and just a lot of upside from here.
Well, Kelly, thank you very much for your time. I note in particular that you apart from the growth in content investment, the local focus, you're also talking about the growth in and building of partnerships with MVPDs as well. So you see the whole ecosystem existing and growing together. Very interesting. Thank you very much for your time. It's been an honor and a privilege to have you here. And well, go Paramount Plus. We're looking forward.
All right. Thanks so much, Natalie.
Have a great day.
Great to see you. Thank you.